Alright, I'm back after a glitch just cost me a stream. So now I had to restart my stream. But I am back. But that sucked though. It was like really fucking annoying. Alright, so be a pro. Continue.
Ray Ferraro continue.
Okay, let's see. So 2. Alright, so
Now,
we got a
despite
goal
the
there.
fact that they're...
Oh shit, we got 2 points there. That's not good. Let's see what are we gonna get? Ranking.
As we bring Ray Ferraro back into the show, how are you, sir?
All good.
Awesome.
All good.
You know, we've talked so much about kind of the draft rankings. What do you make of the kids so far here in this tournament?
Well, it's an interesting time for a kid going into.
I don't want to go number 1 overall.
Into his draft that he now knows is just a month or so away. I think he's played well enough that his draft stock's probably climbed a little bit. It puts himself into the.
All right, Razor, channel your inner bird dog here. What'd you think of the kid as his performance at the Memorial Cup?
Liked it a lot. Really bullish on the way that he played. For a young player, he took a leadership role. He was playing important minutes through this tournament, and pretty interesting to see how much they leaned on him. For me, this is a kid I would take high in the draft.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one, and the performance certainly backed that up. Thanks for this.
Yep.
So from what I'm hearing coming out of the Combine this past weekend, the Los Angeles Kings were said to have a very good conversation with the youngster. Now, where does that look like? How does that all evolve in Hollywood and the kid? I mean, is there a fit there? I don't mind it. We'll see how it all plays out because there's a lot of moving parts between now and draft day. But the Kings said to be very high on the youngster here from what I'm hearing. Okay, still to come here on the show, joined by one of the top draft analysts. And from what I heard over the weekend at the Combine, the kid had a very lengthy interview with the New York Rangers. And think about what the Rangers have done with the youth movement over the last couple of years. Very intriguing scenario for them with the Rangers suddenly into the mix. And could you imagine him in a blue shirt? Original 6 team. That's not a bad fit right there, in my opinion.
Well,
as we inch closer and closer to the big draft day, and I'll tell you what, when we look at some of the draft rankings and some of the scouts that I've talked to, I think we're all kind of on the same page. We've got this kid ranked pretty high, and he has put himself in a position to be a very high...
I refuse to go number 1 overall. Come on, this sucks, dude. Alright, let's see. Who are we gonna go to? Are you fucking kidding? Are you fucking kidding me? It's a fucking joke. Fucking joke. Dumb fucking joke. Back all the way back up 30.
Ray Ferraro, continuing our conversation here on the show. You won this tournament. What do you look for in this semifinal?
Somebody that is calm and somebody that is playing a mature game.
So it's not you, right?
I don't know. Go back and dig it up. I can't remember how I played in the semi. I had a good final, though. I do know, though, that as a teenager, you can get wrapped up in all the noise around the game, and you can take yourself out of the game. But if you're focused, man.
Damn it, I don't want to go number 1 overall. Apparently putting up a fucking few ass points means you're instantly like number 1 overall. You're the best in the world. Jesus Christ. This game's off. Look.
Ray Ferraro, continuing our conversation here on the show. You won this tournament. What do you look for in this semifinal?
Somebody that is calm and somebody that is playing a mature game.
So not you, right?
I don't know. Go back and dig it up. I can't remember how I played in the semi. I had a good final, though. I do know, though, that as a teenager, you can get wrapped up in all the noise around the game, and you can take yourself out of the game. But if you're focused, man, this kid is good, and he can make a difference.
Well, we are just moments away from that big game. We've got you covered here.
I'm gonna go.
As we continue the conversation with Ray Ferraro, hey, look, the goal is to ultimately win the Memorial Cup here, but we also like to talk draft rankings. What can the kid do? Can he do more?
Oh, he's got another gear, James. At least one. I think he's been okay in the tournament, and it's really a pretty interesting time for a player like him in this tournament because he's of two minds. He's thinking about the team. He's thinking about a chance to win the Memorial Cup, but you know the draft is not very far ever from his train of thought. This is a chance here to increase his draft status.
That's Ray Ferraro joining us here on the show.
On sim game, let's go.
Ray, you've played in a Memorial Cup final. Can one player in a team game really kind of turn the tide here?
No, there's no reason.
He can, because it's one game. If you're talking about the whole tournament, I tell you no. But this game can be tight. and you need a big play from somebody, why can't it be him? He's shown throughout the year that he can be a difference maker, and you got one game, one chance. The puck's on your stick, or you make a play that is in a key spot. You make the difference.
Step up or go home. Overall. Simple as that. Hey, also wanted to ask you a little bit about what's happening. Do you take away positives from what you've seen despite the loss here, Ray?
No, I don't. I can understand, and I get his disappointment here, but he had an outstanding tournament.
Ray, you're used to uneven performances having to carry me on a nightly basis. Yeah. What'd you make of the kid as we get now focusing on the draft here as the next step?
Well, just okay for a tournament for him. You can see almost every game there's one or two instances where you say, yeah, that's why the scouts love him. But there was more that I think gave me a little bit of a pause on where I'd take him in the draft. The scouts seem to be the same way of kind of...
Yeah, like a pick around there. First team
is... The former first overall pick will join us a little later on here in the show and share some of his draft memories. Now, from what I'm hearing coming out of the Combine, the Minnesota Wild had a fairly lengthy interview with the youngster at the Combine. So the Wild suddenly coming into play on this one, which is very intriguing in my eyes as to how he could potentially fit on this roster in that sort of transition with this team between the old and the new. We'll see how it all plays out. With more on their thoughts on this, we head to
Maple Leafs.
All right, thanks very much for the call, Randy. And that kind of reminds me of another scenario that I had heard over the weekend at the Combine, that the Toronto Maple Leafs had a lengthy conversation with the youngster. And, you know, with the two sides interviewing, from what I heard from the Leafs, they were quite impressed by the demeanor and the poise and the maturity by the young man. So let's see how it plays out on draft day, but that might be a fit in Toronto for the kids. So we'll wait and see how it plays out. All right, back to the phones we go. Ray is on line 4. How you doing? And from what I've been told by my sources, that the Florida Panthers had a very engaging conversation with the young player at the Combine. So take that for what it's worth. But the Panthers, I'm told, really enjoyed the conversation that they had with the youngster. And is there a possible fit there? I don't think it hurts for either side, this based on the ideas from what I'm hearing right now on some of these potential draft scenarios. All right, still to come here on the show, Ray Ferraro is going to... A tricky one when we look at this one particular kid, and you know, there were a lot of expectations, a lot of hype on him going in, and I wonder if maybe he just felt the scrutiny being a little too much. And I always go back to years ago, you know, there was a player, young Alan McCauley. He was projected to be a top 5 pick in the NHL draft. His stock dropped. He wound up being a 3rd or 4th round selection, and he became a legit player. It was a steal of a pick back then. Continuing our conversation with Ray Ferraro here on the show, and man, that's got to be a nice moment for the kid getting drafted and hearing his name called.
It's better than that, James. It's the realization, really, of a lifelong dream. I mean, since he's a little kid, he's been dreaming about getting drafted into the NHL.
I am a Florida Panther.
Now, the understanding that we've got is that the kid was supposed to be heading down to the rink sometime today to kind of check out the new surroundings. This has got to be like the first day of school, Razor.
Guaranteed he would have gone early to go and take a look at the locker room. You walk in there for the first time, you can't believe your lifelong dreams are about to happen.
And when you're looking around, I'm assuming, is he thinking the nameplate might be up there?
Oh, you're hoping, but, he's going to learn that those trainers don't miss very often. The jersey's ready. Your name has never looked so good as when it's on top of your stall. But what I remember, James, is the excitement, the nervousness, how scared you were. And then you're like, I'm in an NHL room. I can't believe this.
I have been drafted.
It is the very best
Goodbye.
of feelings that you can have till you step on the ice the first time.